secret in the quiet hour away, only for you, 'cause I want to know you more. And I want to know you, I want to hear your voice, I want to know you more. Yeah, I want to touch you, I want to see your face, I want to know you more. I am reaching for the highest goal, that I might receive the prize. Pressing onward, pushing every hindrance aside, out of my way, 'cause I want to know you more. Yeah, I want to know you. I want to know you. I want to hear your voice. I want to know you more. Yeah, I want to touch you. I want to see your face. I want to know you more.
I want to know you. I want to hear your voice. I want to know you more. I want to touch you. I want to see your face. I want to know you more.
I want to know you more. Yeah, I want to know you. I want to hear your voice. I want to know you more. Oh, I want to know you. I want to touch you. I want to see your face. I want to know you more. I want to know you. I want to know you. I want to hear your voice. I want to know you more. Yeah, I want to touch you. I want to see your face. I want to know you more. Oh, I want to know you more. Oh yeah, I want to know you. Know you I wanna grow up to be like Jesus, to do what he teaches and shine the light. I wanna grow up and go where he leads me, walking the way that I know is right. I wanna grow up to be like Jesus, to do what he teaches and shine the light. I wanna grow up and go where he leads me, and walking the way that I know is right. Yeah, I wanna grow up right.
Good morning, Rise Church. Happy 4th of July. I hope you celebrate this weekend with friends, family, just have a good time watching the fireworks, even setting some off yourself. I really hope you have a great time celebrating that day. And I can't wait to see you on the 17th for our next meetup. I'm super excited for that because last week was amazing. Just being with you all, having a good time, getting drilled in the face with some water balloons. It was fun and a good time. And if you couldn't be there, that's okay. I hope to see you in the future. It was a great time. Really just looking forward to getting to know you and even bring some friends in there, just getting to know who you are and grow together, really. So on Tuesday, we'll have our boys meetup, which is Fortnights. And if you're a young guy who wants to be involved, please jump in, please get involved. It's a great time. We go through the book of John, and then we play video games. So we hang out a little bit, go through the book of John, do some reading for a chapter or two, and then we play video games together, and it's always a great time. We end up hanging out way past the deadline every single time. We're just hanging out, having a good time. If you have a friend that wants to be involved, or if you are not involved and maybe you think that's something you'd want to do, play video games, read the gospel, I mean, hey, sounds like a good time, and it is. Feel free to jump in. You can email me at nextgen@therisechurch.com, and that goes for both of our groups. And for our next group, it's again Tuesday at 7 p.m., not this Tuesday though, next Tuesday, and that's Bloom. And last week, the girls kept wanting to play video games together like the boys, so that's what we did. We read through a story in the Bible, and then we played video games together. It was a great time. It was really fun, actually, and I look forward to doing stuff like that in the future. Maybe we'll throw that into the rotation. But for the girls' night, it's a really safe place. If you're a young girl who wants to get involved, feel free to jump in. We want you there. It's a great time. And honestly, like, we have so many games every week that are so unique, and it really gears towards remembering the scripture. It's a great place to grow. It's a great place to learn. It's a safe place to ask questions. So be involved if you want to. Jump in. Again, you can email me at nextgen@therisechurch.com for more information on that. And that's it for announcements, but we're going to go to worship, and after that, I'll have a message for you guys. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay.
It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You're making all things brand new. So crazy to believe that nothing's ever gonna come between all the love that you have for me. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. Step out, take a breath, knowing you're right beside me, always looking up. Your face is all that I see. Your love within me sets my spirit free. Now you got me singing. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You're making all things brand new. So crazy to believe that nothing's ever gonna come between all the love that you have for me. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You hear every word. God, I know you're listening. You know every hurt. You turn it all to dancing. Your love within me sets my spirit free. Now you got me singing. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You're making all things brand new. So crazy to believe that nothing's ever gonna come between all the love that you have for me. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. It's all looking so bright. It's all feeling so right. It's all looking so bright. It's all feeling so right. And I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You're making all things brand new. So crazy to believe that nothing's ever gonna come between all the love that you have for me. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You're making all things brand new. So crazy to believe that nothing's ever gonna come between all the love that you have for me. It's a new day. It's a new day. I'm feeling so alive with you. It's a new day. I'm feeling so alive with you. Feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you.
Welcome back, everyone. So I wanted to start today off with a question. Have you ever had to walk through something in life and felt like totally uncertain and scared about it? I bet you have. I mean, maybe it was going through another grade, you're going up one, or you're held back and it's like, ooh, what is everyone going to think of me? Or like going from fifth grade to sixth grade, you got to jump into middle school. Or maybe it was trying out for a team and you're like, man, I'm so nervous. Like, what if I don't make it? Are people going to make fun of me? What's going to happen there? Or maybe you're looking for a job and you're trying to get that first job like super early at 13, or maybe you're trying to get that at 16, whatever it may be, you're trying to get that job in there and you're just worried about if you won't get it, or if you do get it, you're nervous about how you're going to do in that. Or maybe even cutting lawns could be your first job. I got a lot of friends that started out early with that. But whatever it is, I'm sure you've had situations that you were nervous, you were uncertain, anxious, and worried about what's going to happen next. That's part of life, and that's going to continue to happen. There will be more times like it. And you'll always have situations where you're uncertain, but I want to say it does not mean you're alone in those steps of life, in those issues, in those struggles. You're not alone in that. I mean, if you're part of this church, one of the amazing things I can say about that is I know a ton of people here that are here that will literally bend over backwards to see you succeed, to see you grow, to help you. They're all genuine people. I love that about this church. And I've had plenty of experiences myself where I've had to go into uncertain times or anxious times and worried times. And I'll tell a story, and you can totally laugh at it and make fun of me when you see me about it. It's whatever. So my wife and I had been with each other since eighth grade. We met each other really young, and we've been married going on 5 years now. And but by the time I graduated and started school, I was like already working, and I knew I wanted to marry her. Like she was starting school, I was working. I was like, it's time that I think we take this next step. So I wanted to marry her, and I knew she was the one for me. Like without a doubt, I knew it. I mean, I was really immature, like super immature through high school. I'm still pretty immature, and she stuck with me. So I was like, hey man, if she can stick me through that, then I'm pretty sure we're gonna be good going forward. So trust me about that too. My wife can confirm that I do a lot of immature, stupid things all the time. But anyway, I figured now is the best time to convince her to marry me before she figures out that she could do way better. So I'm like, I gotta lock this down, trick her into marrying me. No, but really, I mean, it was the time. So I went out and I bought this ring, which I could not afford. Like I did not have the money for it, but I found one on Black Friday. Yeah, I'm cheap, I know. And I'm still cheap like that. If I find a deal, I'm going after it. So I found this beautiful ring that was like 65% off or something crazy like that. And it was actually the first thing I ever financed to like make payments on it to build credit. It was the first thing I ever didn't have the money cash up front for that I had to pay over time. So I got this ring and I was super excited. And I thought, you know what? Now I got to figure out how I'm going to propose. So I laid out this plan where I was gonna have like my girlfriend at the time come over my house, and I was gonna have my friends come over, and we were gonna set up these string lights, and it was gonna be a bunch of us there, and it was gonna be a beautiful dinner we had in my backyard with string lights, pretty. And then after the dinner, I proposed to her, and I thought too, I'm like, if she says no, it would just be me and her. So like I can keep that on down low. Like, no, that never happened. Like I could deny it if she said no, because that was a big fear of mine. But I knew that I have to get her father's blessings first. I knew I had to do that first. So I went over to her house like 10 minutes before her and her mom got there one day. And I go up to the front door, and it's just me and her dad. I rang the doorbell, and I'm like, my heart's pounding. I'm so nervous and excited because like all week I've been like, what if he says no? What if he says no? What if he says no? And all my friends and family are like, don't worry, he's not going to say no. Ask for his blessings. So I ring the doorbell. He answers the door. And I'm like, hey, I don't even know what to say to him. So I'm just like, hey, I'm wondering if I could have your blessings to marry your daughter. And he looks at me and pauses for a second. And he goes, no. I was like, I didn't know what to do. Like, it was like, whoa, this is actually happening now. Like, whoa, he actually said no. And then he goes, you're asking for my blessing, so I think you're going to do it anyway. You're going to propose anyway. But my answer is no. You can't have my blessing. And I was super, super awkward. I was just sitting there, and I'm like, well, what do you mean no? Like, I'm thinking that in my head. I'm like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I bought this ring. I have this plan. Like, nothing's going to work out anymore. And I'm super, like, the anxiety, fear, and like, oh man, this is really a reality right now was just building. And it was a super awkward moment. I didn't know what to say next. And I only had a couple minutes because her mom, and she was about to be home. So I'd like make it quick, and I'm like, why? That was the only thing I could think of. Why? Why say no? And he was like, you're just too young right now. You guys are both really young. She's going to college. Just want you guys to be a little older. I don't think it'll work out. And there's no further time to discuss anything. So I just got that, like, honestly, to me, it was a bad explanation. Looking back on it, it was actually a pretty fair explanation. But in the moment, it was horrible. It wasn't what I wanted to hear. So Amanda's mom comes home and with Amanda, and immediately Amanda's mom just knows something up. She's like, "What's going on?" She's probing and asking all these questions. Thank God her dad didn't go, "Oh, he just asked for my blessings," and I said no. Like he kept it to himself, and I was like, "Oh, thank God for that." But she said no, so 6 months go by, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, man, well, I'm 6 months older now. Not a lot older, but I'm 6 months older now. I'm gonna ask again because I still have this ring. And I ask again, and this time I asked her mom and her dad because I was terrified to just ask her dad again. He had scarred me for the rest of my life. So I ask her and her mom, and again, they say, "No, you're just too young. We don't know if it's the right time. Like, I don't know." And I'm like, man, this is so disappointing again because I had another plan set up. I thought for sure, again, he's going to say yes this time. I'm 6 months older now. And so I thought I had this great plan played out to where I was going to go on this hot air balloon ride. And while we're up there, I was going to give her this speech or whatever. And then tell her, like, look over there. Like, look what's over there on that. Like, read that. And it was going to be, I paid the people at the hot air balloon place, put up a sign that says, "Will you marry me?" And she was going to turn and I'd propose. And had this great plan that I had paid for and everything. And now I'm out of more money again. And I'm broke already. So I'm like, man, this can't keep happening to me. Like, I'm so nervous and scared every single time, and I'm planning all these things out to make sure it's going to be good, it's going to be good, and then it doesn't come through, and I'm like devastated each time. And then before I left on that time, though, her mom grabs me and goes, "You know what? If you wait 6 more months until December, winter time, you don't have to ask again. You have our blessings on one condition. It's a long engagement, and you wait till you actually get married until after she's graduated school." So I very happily agreed to that because that means at least I could propose and be on my way to marry her. I was very, very happy about that. So I said yes to it. I'll wait. We'll have a long-term engagement or whatever. So then I go to the actual proposal once 6 months go by and I'm getting ready. And again, I'm super nervous because now I'm like, well, I have their blessings. Everyone says she's going to say yes, but everyone said her parents would say yes, not once, but twice. What if she says no? So I am terrified. And I guess she like suspected it or she got her nails done and everything, but I was like, I didn't give her a clue or anything. So I'm going out. I bring us like the Rochester lights. If you know what that is, it's like a street in Rochester. Streets are all lit up with Christmas decorations and lights. And I'm thinking, under the tree, I'm going to propose to her. Well, we go there, we get a coffee and stuff, and then we go over there, and I get nervous, and I chicken out. I couldn't do it. I was too afraid. I'm like, no, because then she's going to say no to me, because I've had this happen to me twice already with her parents. She's going to say no, and there's going to be 1,000 people sitting around me laughing. I'm not doing that. So I was like, all right, I'll do it at dinner. So I'm like, okay, I don't know why I thought that would be better because there's still people around. Go, I'll do it at dinner. I'm like, I got this fancy place, Amanda. We're going to go out to dinner. We'll go here. And she insists on going to Outback. And listen, I love Outback Steakhouse. I really do. To this day, love them. That's not the place I wanted to propose to my wife. I didn't want that to be our story. So I'm like, I'm not proposing at Outback. I'm not doing that. So I was stubborn again, and I messed this all up. So then we go home, and I'm like, I gotta propose. I gotta propose. So I have this Christmas ornament that I was gonna give her, and on the back it says, "Will you marry me?" And then I was obviously gonna give a little speech, and then propose. So we get to my house, and I'm so nervous that I nearly peed myself. So I had to run to the bathroom. It's terrible. So I get there. She almost opens it. I come out, and she's starting to open. I'm like, hey, wait, don't do that yet. And then I start giving her the speech about how much I care for her. And I had never cried in front of her at this point because I was a guy who was Mr. Tough Guy, and tough guys don't cry. So midway through talking, I just start like snotty nose crying. Not like cute crying, I mean snotty nose crying bad. And then I get down and I forget everything I'm going to say. I have no clue. I'm like, I lost it all because I'm so nervous and scared. I get down and I propose. And she says yes, thank God. Thank God she said yes. So she said yes to a snotty-nosed guy on the ground there, but whatever, I'll take it. She's still with me. She's stuck with me now. But I had messed it up, and each step over this like long process, I felt like so anxious and worried and scared because bad things kept happening. The worst thing I was afraid of kept happening. So in that time I felt like honestly uncared for and discarded because like I was a bad person in my past and I had just turned to God and my life had completely changed. But I was worried that my past for who I was haunting me and now I wouldn't be able to marry the girl I wanted because of that. And even when I got married, even after everything worked out and I was able to marry her, like reading my vows, when I get super emotional, instead of like, crying and stuff, I cry and laugh. So I was up there laughing, reading my vows, looking like a crazy person. Nothing was cute about it. Like I messed things up, okay? But the point I'm making is I'm telling you a story that there was a lot of times over that year-long process and even the 3-year engagement where I felt like I was alone, where I felt like I would never get to marry her. The goals I set out would never come true. And there was times through the 3-year engagement where I was so broke trying to scrap up any money I could to pay for this wedding. I mean, it was not easy. There was so many times of uncertainty. But in times of uncertainty and struggle in life, I would always turn to God. And that taught me something amazing. That whatever storm you're in, whatever struggle you're in, whatever problem you're in, you have to turn to Jesus. You have to turn. So I would turn and see Jesus, and it was like everything would stop and slow down. And like I would start to realize like I'm in God's hands. And through that, the anxiety, the worry, the self doubt, all of it would go away. So let me read out of John 6, where Jesus walks on water, and I'll be reading out of the NIV and starting at verse 16 and ending at verse 21. When evening came, his disciples went down to the lake, where they got into a boat and set across the lake for Capernaum. By now it was dark, and Jesus had not yet joined them. A strong wind was blowing, and the waters grew rough. When they had rowed about 3 or 4 miles, they were frightened. But he said to them, "It is I, do not be afraid." Then they were willing to take him into the boat, and immediately the boat reached the shore where they were heading. Now, when I read this at first, like years ago, my mind always went to like weird things when I first read the scriptures. So immediately I read that and I go, wait a minute, Jesus can teleport? I just read the other gospels to where he had to walk all these weird paths and stuff. I'm like, man, that was so much energy and time wasted. But in seriousness, there, talking about that verse, beside that crazy point, look at this disciple, the situation that the disciples were in. Like, it was dark. It was at night. They were kind of alone there. Jesus was not yet with them. So they thought like, hey, yeah, God's not with us. We're alone in this dark boat. And then it sounds to be like a rowboat because like they were rowing. So it's probably not this big giant boat or anything. And then a strong winded storm comes while they're 3 to 4 miles into their journey. So you're in the dark. No one can see you. You're 4 miles out. No one can hear you. And there's a storm and you're in a rowboat. Things aren't looking good because I don't know about you. If I fall over in that boat, I can swim like 1 mile maybe, okay? I'm not getting to 2 miles. I don't know about you, but I'm not getting to it. But let's say the disciples were really, really in shape because they did do a lot of walking, so they could swim 2 miles. They still would have to swim 3 to 4 miles. So this was actually a life or death situation there. It was great fear, great anxiety. Like, what are we going to do here? And they're in this life and death situation, and they see someone walking on water. So as if you weren't already scared enough, now you look up from the terrible situation you're in, and you see somebody walking on water, and you're like, "Whoa, what is going on?" And that they didn't recognize it was Jesus at first, even though they probably should have been able to figure that out. But he says, "It is I. Don't be afraid." And it even says that they were frightened by this, but he says, "It is I. Don't be afraid." And then they allow Jesus to get onto the boat, and then immediately they're at land. And this leads me to my first point. You may feel alone in the storm, but the point is, you aren't alone in the storm. If you're alone in a storm, man, it makes things hard. If you're alone in a problem in your life, it makes you feel like extra alone. It makes you feel extra scared. It makes you feel extra anxious. It makes things a lot scarier when you feel alone. But when you aren't sure about what you'll do next in life, whatever that next step is that you're doing, or whatever the problem you're in, what you're not sure to do next, think and remember that you aren't alone. You're not alone through this. You have a God who loves you and who will not leave you alone. He will not forsake you. And you have his children, your brothers and sisters in Christ, along you as well. And we love you as well. So we're not alone in whatever problem you're going through. And whenever you're going through an issue, here's what I want you to search for. I want you to search for Jesus. And notice that they saw him walking towards them. He wasn't walking along the way in like another direction. He was walking towards them. He was coming towards the problem they were in. But what if they were so focused on the boat and everything going on that they never looked up to see Jesus? They never looked in his direction and noticed that he's coming towards them. Jesus would have been there, but they wouldn't have noticed. Like, could that have happened? And once they did notice him, though, once they did look up and notice him, look at what they did. It says that once they realized it was him, they were willing to take him into the boat. So, to see Jesus, sometimes you need to look in his direction. So, here's a question you should ask yourself. When you're going through these hard times, where am I looking? Like, where are you looking during these hard times? Are you looking towards the problem? Are you looking towards your anxiety? Are you looking toward, what are you looking towards? Because it should be Jesus often. And are you just looking at the problem and everything that you can truly try to fix? Or, you should do that, right? Or are you anxious about what's going to happen next? And you can only think about what happens if these what ifs are bad. And then what happens when the what ifs come true? Like in my situation, the what if came true. Will you continue to focus on all this worry and anxiety and fear? Or will you look up and see Jesus and see that God is with you in this time? Because if you have a tendency to not look for Jesus in your life, here's 3 ways you can, and here's 3 ways you should be looking for Jesus in your life. The first way is pray. Let him know you're in the storm, and let him know that you need him. He's already walking towards you. Just pray to him and let him know, I'm here, I need you, God. And sometimes he shows up even faster. That's often how you let him into the boat with you. Read his word. I think that Jesus speaks most clearly to us when you read the Bible, and it's crazy how even like a verse of the day can even be like the verse we needed to read, the verse we needed to hear from God's voice to get us through something. And then a third way is talking community. Ask your brothers and sisters in Christ. Ask your brothers and sisters around you, the people that under God are family to you, your new family through the church, to help you see God in this hard time. And they will. They'll do what they can. They'll pray for you. They'll read the Bible with you. They'll give you advice. They'll be with you. And let me give you a promise now. When you search for Jesus, whether you use one of those or all 3, you'll find him and you'll find his peace. You'll find him because he's always there. God is what we call omnipresent, which is a big word. It literally just means he's always there with you. He's always there because his spirit is in you. And Jesus is there. Jesus is always there. You just need to see him and allow him into your boat. Allow him into your struggle or problem. And something amazing will happen once you see him and you bring him into that struggle. And what happens next is my second point. Second point is, with Jesus, the storm is irrelevant. The storm simply doesn't matter anymore. It is truly irrelevant. It does not matter. And I know it feels like it does, but it doesn't when Jesus is there. Now, every time I felt like I'm working too much or to make this wedding happen, or I'm doing so much and I'm so nervous that I'm not going to be able to do this, or every time I'd ask to marry a man and our parents would say no, which, by the way, I want to say, we now have a great relationship and I love them very much and we're very close. But I even in those times where they would say no and I felt like, man, I'm alone, I would know that Jesus is there with me and I'd have to search for him. And sometimes I just couldn't see him, to be honest, not because he wasn't there, but because I wasn't looking for him. Or sometimes I'd even know he's there, like I said, but I wasn't allowing him into the struggle with me. I was letting him just sit outside in the water, and I wasn't bringing him into my struggle. It's so important to do that. And if I would simply do that, if you would simply do that, see him show up, give him a chance to get in your boat, give him a chance to get in your problems and your struggles, then a sense of peace that would come onto you that allows you to realize you are in his hands. You are in God's hands. And you realize the storm, the problem, the struggle, that you're in is really irrelevant. It's irrelevant because nothing matters because you're in God's hands. You're in God's hands. You're not in my hands. You're not in your parents' hands. You're in God's hands. Do you think God is going to let you down? No. If you see him, follow him, and allow him in, he's going to be with you through that. That doesn't mean everything's going to turn out your way all the time. No. But it means that you're not going to be alone in it. And it means that sometimes when God says no to something, he's doing it so that you can have a greater experience later on, so that you can have greater sense. And when God said no to me all those times, to where I was asking the parents, and I felt like, God, where are you in this? Like, come on, man, I'm trusting in you too. I'm doing this for you also. I failed to realize that sometimes God was just saying no to me because I wasn't ready to allow him into all my problems, into all my life. And that was a learning experience for me to really take God and say, you're in my problems, you're in my life. And now with our marriage, we put him at the center of it. But I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have to go through a situation like this. So when you got to go up a grade and switch schools or apply for that job you didn't get, or when you get a job and you're scared about how you'll do, or when you try out for that team or start a new class and you got to sit by people you don't know, or even join a new friend group, or even when you're in trouble and you know you messed up and you're about to get in trouble, whatever it is, when you can see Jesus and you realize everything around you is only here for a moment, but you'll be with him forever, you'll start realizing that you should be grateful for the struggle. You should be grateful for the worry, for the good and the bad, because you have a God who will meet you in your storm. You have a God that's going to walk towards you in your problem. A God who, when he arrives, will bring you to dry land. That storm doesn't matter because when he hopped in the boat, bang, they were on dry land. What does that storm matter anymore? You're not on the water. You're not in the you're on dry land. And that's what happens when you allow Jesus into your boat. That's what happens when you allow Jesus into your life, into your struggles. You're on dry land. And you have a God who will bring you to that dry land. You have a God who will see you and remind you that you were his child. A God that he himself went through a storm for you, who walked across the lake, who walked across the problem, who walked across that storm to take your hand and to bring you to safety, to take your hand and bring you into his kingdom, his salvation. When you start to recognize Jesus in your storm and see him in it, dry land is near. Safety and comfort are near. The storm doesn't matter because you can remember you are in his hand. And if God is for me, who can be against me? When you see Jesus, the fear of the storm should be replaced by the safety of his hand. Let's pray. Father, I thank you for being a God that moves towards us in our struggle, moves towards us in our tribulation, our trials, all the things we have that's going on, our anxiety, our fears. You move towards us. And if we would just be able to look our heads up and see you and allow you into these problems, I know you'll bring us peace. So God, for those of us who are going through that right now, help them look up to see you. Help give them the courage to bring out their hand to allow you into their struggles, into their worries, so that you can remind them that they are in your hands. You are the Prince of Peace. You bring peace that is unexplainable. So for those of us that need it in this time, I pray that you be with them in that. And for those of us who are in a good time, I thank you for that, God. And I ask that when that time comes, when these worries come, that they would remember that they just need to look up, that they need to search for you, whether that's through prayer, whether that's through reading your word, or whether that's through in community talking about you and sharing your struggles so that you can be invited in. That they would remember these things so that when they go through this, they won't go through it alone, and they'll realize you are with them, and they'll find your peace, they'll find your comfort. We love you, Lord. And in your Son's holy name we pray, Jesus. Amen. So thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I had a great time with you. I love you all. I hope to see you on the 17th. But in the meantime, happy 4th of July. I hope you have a great time. Enjoy the fireworks. It's going to be a beautiful day. Have a great day, y'all. Bye.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's a perfect shot. Just hold it right there. Whatever you're giving me. That's awesome.
All right, can I go get ready for the show now?
No. I'm still setting up the shot. Okay. Ooh, this looks good. Yeah, that that's awesome.
I have been standing here for 30 minutes, John.
You can't rush art, Brandon.
Oh, we're making art now?
When have we ever not made art? Here we go. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, I got an idea.
Okay.
Ready?
How much longer?
Just hold still. Not much longer. Here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
You're gonna zoom in, and then you're gonna zoom out. You're gonna zoom in, and then you're gonna zoom out, and you're gonna zoom in.
Okay, I'm
And
done.
then-
I'm
what?
done.
No.
I'm done.
Okay.
That's
fine.
it.
Fine. So go take a break. Just can you bring your stand in?
Yeah.
Please? Thank you. All right. That's great. That's great. All right, stay right there. Stay right there. That's
Why?
perfect. Not you. I'm talking to your stand-in.
Oh.
You are allowed to leave, man. Actors. Glad we got rid of that guy, right? Oh, wait, that's perfect. Just hold it right there. Okay. And then we zoom in. Oh, yeah, look at those eyes. Then we zoom out. Then we zoom in. Yes! We zoom out. And then we do a spin. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is great. We go faster. 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 Oh. Cut.
No. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the So-and-So Show. I'm Brandon.
And I'm John. Spiders.
No.
Horses.
No.
Nails on a chalkboard.
No, John. Look, John's trying to figure out what I'm afraid of.
Nothing scares you.
I can't think of anything. Sorry.
What if your fingers suddenly turn into worms?
Can't really picture that.
Oh, here, I'll help.
No, I think I'd actually find that pretty fascinating. Anyway, have we got a great show for you today?
The power going out.
No.
Storms.
Oh, no, I love thunderstorms. Can we do the show now?
Sure.
All right, so today.
What about Oreos that have earwax filling? Oh.
I find that disgusting, but it's not scary.
Oh, well, we'll see about that. Because it's time for a game I call Fear the Filling. Fear the Filling. Here's how this game works. Someone has replaced the normally delicious filling from these Oreo cookies with a filling that may or may not be delicious. All we have to do is taste the Oreo and guess the right flavor. First one to guess two correctly wins the game, unless, of course, you fear the filling.
I don't think so. Let's play.
That's great. Filling number one. Ooh, you scared?
No.
I am terrified. Ooh.
Oh. Oh, it's gross. Ugh. What is that?
Oh.
Ew.
Sunscreen.
Sunscreen. How do you know what sunscreen tastes like?
I don't want my tongue to get sunburned.
Okay.
All right. Next filling.
Oh.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Oh man, they're red. You scared?
No.
I want to run away screaming.
Okay. Oh, hot, hot. Ah,
Strawberry? Oh!
no, no, some kind of hot sauce. No. Okay, fine. All right.
Can I have some milk, please?
I got it right. Oh. Wasn't that hot? You gonna be okay?
Next filling.
All right.
Oh, it's green.
Yeah.
No, Nate! Don't touch that. It's green. Do you know what that could be? That could be some sort of dangerous mold or grasshopper guts or some sort of radioactive toxin. Don't touch it.
I'm not afraid.
No, don't. Yeah, you should be afraid.
try.
No! 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 Brandon, no! No! No, no, no! Brandon!
Mint. Guess I win. It's Bible story time with Kellen.
Hey guys,
What's up, Kellen?
You got a story for us today?
is this segment called Bible discussion time with Kellen?
No, it is not.
Then yes, I've got a story.
Oh, actually, Kellen, can I help tell the Bible story today? I have a feeling I can make it more scary. I can make it more cinematic, which would be really terrifying, gratifying to our viewing audience. You know, I'm a budding filmmaker, right?
I've heard something of the sort.
It's true. I'm trending on Twitter. Listen to what people are saying. My son John wants to be a filmmaker. Looks like he won't be moving out of my basement anytime soon. Hashtag retired mom problems. Boom.
You know what? Sure, you can help. But do you mind if I do a little setup though?
No problem.
Okay. Sometime after Jesus died and when he came back to life, there was a guy named Saul who was going from place to place finding people who believed in Jesus and throwing them in jail. But when Saul was on his way to Damascus to arrest even more Jesus followers, he had a miraculous encounter with Jesus himself. Today's story picks up 3 days after that encounter. Saul has gone without food and drink for 3 days, and he has completely lost his sight. John, take it away.
All right. And action.
In a land called Damascus.
Stop. What's that?
A wolf.
No wolves in Damascus.
It's just setting the tone.
Sure, but there were no wolves.
Fine. No wolves in Damascus. All right. Easy fix. Action.
In a land called Damascus, there lived an ordinary guy named Ananias. Did I say ordinary? Not so fast. God might have something to say about that.
Ananias,
Yes, Lord.
go to the house of Judas on Straight Street. Ask for a man from Tarsus named Saul.
Scary, right?
It's not too bad.
All right. You asked for it.
Lord, I've heard many reports about this Saul. He's come to Damascus to arrest your people like me. Surely you don't want me to go to him.
Go!
I'm just going to cut in for a sec. That's true. God asked Ananias to go help out a man who should have been his enemy, so Ananias had every reason to be scared. Not sure if God's voice sounded like that, but I don't know for sure, so I'm going to let that one slide. In any case, Ananias did what God told him to. John?
Yep.
When God tells you to go, you go.
Wait. What's with the fish?
Because the scales.
The scales. Oh, okay, fine. Carry on.
Would Ananias let fear stop him from doing what God wanted him to do?
Brother Saul, the Lord has sent me to you so you will be able to see. You will be filled with the Holy Spirit. Something like scales has fallen from your eyes.
That's really great. Though, just in case you were wondering, Saul probably didn't have fish on his face.
Just trying to be biblically accurate, Kellen.
Yeah, so Ananias helped Saul see again. And I'm telling you, Saul was a completely different human being after that. He got up, he got baptized, and after he got his strength back, he started telling everyone he could that Jesus was the Son of God, which goes to show you, when you go and
Wait, Kellen, the story isn't over yet.
you have more.
Oh, yeah. This is the really scary, I mean, really emotionally moving part coming up.
Oh boy.
Saul used to terrify followers of Jesus. Now, it was his turn to be terrified.
Saul, you're in danger. Some bad people are going to try and kill you. You have to leave the city. Now!
Mystery, intrigue, a midnight rescue through a hole in the city wall. Would Saul be safe at last? No.
Come on!
Shipwrecks, prison, unimaginable persecution.
What are you, a mannequin?
This man would face trials of these kinds and more for the rest of his life. Saul, who is also called Paul, coming soon. Or is it?
Now you're scared, aren't you?
Yeah, a little. Ha! If I follow Jesus, does that mean I'm going to face trials like Saul for the rest of my life?
Ha!
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Bad stuff is going to happen, and there's going to be plenty of stuff for us to be afraid of. But here's the good news. When you follow Jesus, you've got someone who's going to be there to help you face those fears. So sure, Saul went through some stuff, and we're going to go through some stuff too. But it's not like you have to go through it alone. God will be with us.
I feel better already.
Great.
Thanks for your help today, John.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hey, let's do it again next week.
I mean, that would be terrifying. I can't think of another word. Bye.
Later, Kellen. Man, I thought my version of the Bible would totally scare you.
Sorry, I wish I could help you. I just don't know what I'm afraid of.
Oh. Well, hey, in that case, reveal the question. Oh, what are you afraid of?
Are you afraid of making new friends?
Yeah, or are you afraid of missing the bus and having to walk to school, and then you can't decide if you should cut through old Farmer Ben's cornfield because that would be faster if his dog Dragon is asleep, or if you should take the long walk along the road even though you'll definitely be late and you're paralyzed with indecision and you end up missing the entire day of school, but you don't realize you've missed the entire day of school until the bus comes back to the very same spot that afternoon to let your friends out from school.
Or maybe you're afraid of snakes.
Yeah, talk about it with each other. What are you afraid of?
And we'll see you next time on
The So-and-so Show. I'm always afraid I'll never get to say that at the end.